Hi, I'm Joey, and this is We Love College Waterski. This week, I'm talking to the University of Cincinnati. I'm talking to Drew Bigler, Brayden Patton, and Conner Hoagland. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves and say something about UC?
Yes, thank you. I can start. My name is Brayden Patton. I'm the current president of the UC Waterski and Wakeboard Club. Super excited to be on here, and thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Drew Bigler. I'm the current men's captain of the Waterski team. I'm a fifth year and civil engineering student at UC. So
I'm Conner Hoagland. I graduated from UC 2 years ago and have continued to stick around and judge and participate in summer tournaments.
Great. So my overarching theme for this week is to talk about UC's very active alumni involvement. Because I've seen an unusual amount might be the wrong word, but a large amount of UC skiers continue to be competitive skiers after that UC. So for the first question this week is just a quick icebreaker. Like, how long have you guys been on the water?
I can start with that. I started wakeboarding. This is Brandon, by the way. I started wakeboarding in my freshman year of high school. I never got into skiing until college, and when college came around, I started slalom skiing, which then I got away from wakeboarding. And I actually wanted to start the wakeboard club back up at UC, which then the current president at the time for the water ski club pulled me in. It's like, hey, you can wakeboard um, in water ski tournaments, and that then turned me over to try water skiing again, or try water skiing for the first time, and here I am now.
I've been water skiing since I was about like 9 years old. Just kind of on combo skis. I didn't realize there was competitive water skiing until I got to college. Then I found the club and realized that there's a whole new world to it.
I've been skiing since I was 3. My uncle put me on skis then, and my brother and I grew up skiing on 2 skis, learned how to ski on 1, and we did that recreationally until we got to college and learned there was competitive water skiing, and then we started doing 3 events from there.
So Brain talked a little bit about how he found UC's team. How did you and Drew find UC's team?
So I'm gonna have to blame my brother on this one, which is a good thing. But I was very involved in engineering classes my first year, so I didn't know they existed. He had met them at the spring, or I should say fall, org fair, and he's like, "Hey, I like these guys. They water ski. We've water skied before." And um, I think over the winter he got to know some of the older team members a little bit better. And spring came around, and he's like, "Hey, you might want to check these guys out. They said they got a lake and a boat, and we're gonna go skiing." And so it's kind of like, "Yeah, it sounds cool." And we both went and got hooked immediately.
I found the team at the fall org fair. Tried to think of things I like to do, which was water skiing, snow skiing, wrestling, and then kind of wasn't too involved my freshman year. And then I wrestled with someone that was also on the team, and he pulled me in further, and I've loved it since then.
Great. And how did recruiting go this year? I've noticed a lot of people. Seems like a lot of people active in the group chats.
Yeah, recruiting this year's been actually great. Um, in the spring of 2020, we had over 8 recruits take a trip with a lot of our members, which was cool. It wasn't really necessarily with the water ski team, but that really pulled them into our group or some of our members. And they have stuck around and came to a lot of our meetings. And overall, to date, from last January or the last season of water skiing, we have gotten over 16 new recruits, which is great for our team.
That's amazing. I remember my last year there, we had very like maybe 4 people join. It's insane.
Yeah, we're very excited. It's awesome.
Especially with this fall, like as crazy as everything's been, there seems to be people who've like really been trying to get involved and do stuff within what limited time we have together.
Nice.
What little time we.
Then, do you guys want to talk a little bit about what your practices are like and like your team culture?
Do you want to touch on that? We haven't had practices this year, sadly. But yeah.
Usually we have practice about 1 to 2 times a week, and they're at set dates. We usually have a couple coaches show up and as many people as we want. And just kind of go through, and everyone gets a turn.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a great place to touch on alumni involvement as well. Our alumni provides a huge like support with our practices. Our main boat is provided by Pat Ewald. He is an alum. We also ski at Ski Lake down in Kentucky, in Walton, Kentucky, and that's provided by alumni, current skiers, and just overall supporters. And just the alumni support for the team has really helped the team get to nationals in not only the past, but hopefully the future.
Cool. Amazing to hear. Connor, do you know anything about why alumni like stay around UC's team after you guys graduate?
I know for some of the people in Cincinnati, it's pretty convenient. They have a nice ski lake, and personally, I feel like I've got so much out of the team that I've always wanted to give something back. So that's why I came back to continue judging at least. Moving up north, I haven't had much of an opportunity to actually participate with the team, but just the atmosphere that kind of I was involved in through college skiing and the people that I met has made me want to stick with it and then, further help our team or other college teams in general through the Midwest.
We lose you there for a second, Drew?
Yeah, sorry, I had technical difficulties.
Oh, no worries. Cool. And then, Brayden, have you been doing anything to like promote people staying around as they leave UC?
That's a really good question. So with COVID specifically, right now we haven't really been doing much with alumni or an alumni event, etc. Usually, prior to COVID, one of the big events we do is called Banquet. It is an event at Montgomery Inn in Cincinnati where everyone, alumni, current skiers, and family and friends can all come together, meet up, talk, and afterwards, many people go out for a drink, they're of age, and just converse, bring everyone back together. Tournaments usually also bring people together, just like Connor said, they come around and practices. We have coaches who are usually alumni, but there's a lot of room for improvement to be made with our alumni base and bringing everyone together in more of a family atmosphere, even if they're a current member or alumni.
Thanks. Yeah, I know one thing I noticed at the last Southern Ohio Challenge, like all of the officials were UC alumni. And then that can be super important for a team to like have like institutional support beyond just parents like sending snacks, which is important though.
Yeah, it's definitely important during tournaments. Food's always great, but yeah, this year when we were trying to plan a UC alumni tournament, in case that COVID would simmer down, all of the officials that we talked to off the bat were from UC alumni or had children who skied for UC.
Can you guys go a little bit more in depth of what goes into planning that tournament and like how you reach out to your alumni for it?
Yeah, so that tournaments this year when I tried to plan that tournament, of course it didn't happen because of COVID, but it was my first time ever planning a tournament. I did not have much experience at all, and alumni played a huge role in helping me get through that process. I know Drew in the past was an officer planning a former or a past tournament as well, past alumni tournament, but it's it's a very lengthy process. We really just contacted everyone by the alumni list that we have through the team and talked to other alumni on who they think would be good officials. Same thing with boat owners. We just contacted, like I said before, Pat Ewald, other boat owners who some were from UC, some were not, but to just make the tournament happen. And also just the resources provided by USA Waterski, such as the officials list, which Conner is on as well. They're always a great help.
Then, do you guys have any plans for like some sort of virtual banquet to do as a replacement for what might end up being a canceled banquet due to COVID?
So we're actually postponing our banquet, and we are doing that because a big portion of our banquet normally is a summary of our season. Now, with our season being pushed back to the spring this year, and nationals are in May, we are postponing the banquet until summer. So then in the summer, it might be a little different of a banquet, maybe a fun campfire, depending on how the pandemic hits, something really fun to bring in the members, alumni, family, friends in a unique environment, maybe a little different from before, but no less good.
Then that's all I have about alumni specifically, but I know UC has a fairly involved relationship with the university, which seems kind of unusual for a club team compared to other ski teams around. Can you guys talk a little bit about that?
Do you want to touch on that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. So UC is really involved, and sometimes the university makes us involved. UC has a really strict administration, which we've learned throughout the past year compared to other universities. Not to mention names, but there's some universities who've been able to ski the whole summer and the whole fall, and that puts us in a hard spot because while other teams are progressing, a lot of us can't have water time. I didn't make a slalom pass since April, which is hard to do when you have 18 skiers that can't really get on the water. Now, UC, their administration is really involved in which they know everything you do. So every step you make as a club has to be documented. They can trace back every purchase you make, anything. And that does have its pros and cons. That can help you and it can hurt you. But the great thing with our club is it's been with the university for so long and built such a great relationship with the university that the university will back us and support us through hard times, such as today when many universities are undergoing budget cuts.
And then I know when I was there, we were getting ready to send out like extra development modules and leadership stuff like that. Can you guys talk a little bit about how those turned out and what those kind of involved?
Like leader development modules.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had required leadership meetings that we had to go through in the spring. With COVID, many of those got canceled, so we haven't seen exactly what they are yet. All the volunteer work and all the requirements in quotations, such as leadership, have gotten canceled, but that doesn't mean the volunteer work hasn't really been done. If that makes sense. So we have done it. We have done volunteer work for the spring, in addition to some of the leadership development, but they're all really just webinars and Zoom classes now, and nothing substantial yet. But I heard those are in plans for the spring.
Okay. Then, and you talked a little bit about volunteer stuff. Do you guys want to talk about the different volunteer things that you guys have done over the years, like as a team?
I know for as long as I've been on the team, we've done the Flying Pig Marathon. We always do one leg of the race. We make sure people are ready to run and can keep going and just kind of like there to help along and do whatever we can to help.
Yeah, we also do ampu-ski in the past, which we wanted to do again this year. Again, I'm not trying to, beat a dead horse, but COVID again got it canceled. And that's an awesome event. So we help kids with disabilities from Cincinnati Children ski. Credit to Mala Blacksall to get the first one set up, and Anna Valley get the first event set up. That was great, very rewarding in many aspects to help kids who've never been on the water be able to ski. And then one also thing we implemented this year in the spring is each of our members are required 15 hours of community service or volunteer work on top of their normal volunteer work. So that just ensures that no matter if it's volunteer work with our team or individually, our team's making a difference.
Nice. And then I know that UC has been like heavily involved with adaptive skiing like for a good couple of years. Like the alumni, like the Miller boys, are huge in like the Central Ohio with it. Connor, did you ever go to their events up there?
Yeah, I had gone to a couple
Awesome.
AMB skis. It normally had been held in Columbus at White Sulphur, where OSU actually, and yeah, we've always had, for the years that I had done it, we always had heavy team support there, so it was always a great event.
Mm-hmm. Nice. What do you guys do as part of those like adaptive skiing events?
So like Brayden said, some of the people have never skied before, and they just like to. So it's anyone from mental disabilities to physical disabilities. So some of these people have never skied before, and we try and get them up on a sit ski for the first time. And then some of the people, when I've been there in the past, have actually been competitive adaptive water skiers, and they kind of take it as a bit of a practice set. Some of them will go over the jump, which is absolutely terrifying in one of those sit skis. They have much larger kahunas than I ever did going off the ski or two skis on a jump. So props to them. But
Oh yeah. Oh, those are always great events to go to. Really cool, great way to spend a day on the water.
oh yeah.
Speaking about going over the jump in like unconventional ways, Brayden, have you? So, if you haven't seen him, Brayden's heavily featured in Marcus Brown's most recent collegiate ski video, where he's hitting the wakeboard, going off the jump on a wakeboard at 75 feet, right around there.
I think 70. Oh my gosh. Put me on the spot. I think 76. I think 76.
Nice. Have you been able to work on jumping at all over the summer?
Zero. That is one of my biggest appointments on the for the summer. I really thought I could learn how to do a 3/4 cut, or get into that range, get the letters up on the jump, but never hit the jump once this summer at all. And excited for the spring, excited for the cold water, cold air.
It's really disappointing because I know I was definitely one of the people who, I'd always heard and seen people maxing out at like maybe 65 on a jump, and you like cleared past that. And I think the first tournament you hit 65, and I was like, okay, and you kept going.
Yeah, it was exciting. There were some people making bets against me, and they lost. So it was a bit of an ego boost. I'm not gonna lie there.
And Drew, did you get any chance to get on the water over the summer?
I went to a couple like summer tournaments around Ohio, and then I mostly went to Wake Nation. It's a cable park in Cincinnati. I worked like right up the road from it, so I would go after work whenever I can. And there was a couple of times where a bunch of people from the team came out with me. It was one of the events we kind of tried to do a couple of times.
Cool.
Which was fun.
Nice. And were you on a wakeboard at Wake Nation, or did you like sneak out with a trick ski?
I tried a trick ski once that just he kind of didn't want me hitting everything on it, so I was just kind of riding around on it, which got a little more comfortable, but I mostly wakeboarded.
Cool. Yeah. So that's all my like main questions. And so just the last two. Some of the first ones is like, what's your guys' favorite part of skiing at UC?
gosh. Connor, you want to start?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, thanks for handing that to me, Brayden.
You got the wisdom here.
I'd say one of my favorite things was just the team camaraderie because it's a lot of people, they'll either do Greek life or they'll do club sports, but I just feel like our club was different in a way that we were always doing something together. It was always either on the weekends or, skiing practice, a tournament, and the next weekend. And then once ski season was done, we were just always hanging out together. So I think the number one thing I enjoyed about the team was the camaraderie. I'm going to work on that word. And I don't know, my second favorite, probably being able to ski in a national competition in college. Just having that opportunity was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh, you want to go, Drew?
You can go.
Okay, sorry. I'd say my favorite part about skiing for Cincinnati is just like the competition is unreal. There's such a pride behind it that you see out of skiers from Cincinnati that you don't see out of other schools. I don't know, like the past year we made nationals. It was our 11th time nationals I believe out of 12 years. And we were not expected to go to nationals at all. We didn't have the best team. Our nationals team had 11 people on, and that tells you how well-rounded our team was. And our team wasn't that good when we started. It was hard work, people going out individually on weekdays to ski. People they never skied before. We had lots of coaching, alumni help, and there was such a drive to go to nationals. It was just so fun, that family atmosphere. Everyone had the team for it, that everyone was carrying the team on their back, and it was just a great time. That's probably one of my favorite things about skiing with Cincinnati. It's just the pride and the legacy to fulfill every year.
My favorite is definitely the tournaments. I love the competitive vibe, like Brayden said, and then everything's just like everyone's so supportive, and no matter what level you're at, everyone's trying to get you better, and everyone talks to each other, no matter what team you're from, no matter what kind of background you're from, everyone's kind of just ready to ski and have fun. Just love the environment.
Yes. So I'm going to take a minute and answer this one too, because I started at UC and was there for 3 years.
One a Bearcat, always a Bearcat.
Yeah. No. So for me, it was like you guys really touched on the general environment and like between coaches, alumni, current skiers, just everyone making such a great group to like allow me to fall in love with the sport to a point where I'm like I transferred schools, and one of the first things I looked at was making sure that I was deciding between Kent State and Akron because they were both commutable for me, and Akron had a ski team, and now I'm at Akron. And then just giving like the environment to like allow people to like fall like ass backwards into a sport they'd never seen before and like get them to love it. So absolute last question is what's your favorite thing about collegiate skiing in general, like branching outside of just like centralized UC?
My favorite part about collegiate skiing is definitely how everyone is helpful, and it's a community. There are many sports that I've played in, which if you want help or you want to get better, they're like, okay, go do this. They'll give you a single tip. They don't care. They just want to beat you. That's all they want to do. In collegiate skiing, no matter what you're working on, another team will help you out. Another coach from another team will help you out. Anyone will help you out to get you to the next level just for the love of the sport. Anyone will sacrifice their bottom dollar for the sport. It's awesome. I gotta love it.
Drew, you want to go?
Sure. Like I said before, I love the environment, but favorite part's just being on the water. Like there's no other feeling. Hitting the ramp, it's adrenaline rush. It's crazy.
And not to parrot these two, but I think my main thing that I do like about collegiate skiing is the environment, just how helpful and supportive everyone is. But I would say my second favorite thing is it's probably one of the only sports that you can sit around a lake in bikinis and board shorts and say you're a college athlete.
Awesome. Love it. Oh no, I meant to ask about this. So we only have 10 minutes left because of Zoom. But so I went to Mexico yesterday, and that's why I couldn't go.
That's
Why
great.
I couldn't talk yesterday. But
I
Let's go.
do you
I
guys
think that
want
could
to
have been more productive.
like talk about that tradition at all? Like going
Yes, to a certain extent, let's talk about that. Did you, first of all, one of the big things about Mexico, for you that don't know, Mexico is just any Mexican restaurant. Also, there's usually always a theme, the Mexican restaurant. So Joey, what did you dress up as yesterday?
I dressed up as my girlfriend's boyfriend for her family dinner.
Wow,
But we
I'm
went
out
to
there.
a Mexican restaurant and had lots of margs.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, you go into it more.
Yeah, so a lot of the teams in our conference just love going to the Mexico restaurant close to our tournament sites, and everyone's just there having a good time, intermingling between teams. Like Brayden said, there's usually a theme, so people were sometimes like half dressed in like half Halloween costumes, kind of like Halloween costumes. Other times it's just like dad themed, so everyone's in cargo pant shorts and like crappy Nike shoes.
Connor, did you guys always go to Mexican restaurants too?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Oh, oh yeah, it's been going on for a while.
It was called Mexico before I started, so I don't know where that started, but
Oh
it's
my
been
gosh.
Mexico for a while.
So
After you go to tournaments for 5 weeks, your bowels are cleaned out. Excuse my language. I'll tell you what, it's wild.
see, I know the farthest back I know of people going to Mexico is Christie's talked about it.
Hmm.
So I think Jeff Turjay, NCAA president, was around before her. So if I ever get around to talking to him, I'll make sure to ask him about Mexico. Because he went to Purdue, right?
I think so.
Okay, perfect.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's actually everything I have. So thank you guys so much for coming on, talking to me about ski things.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Joey.
you.
I'm glad you're
Thank you
doing
for
this kind of in a collegiate manner. I've seen, the Waterski podcast pop up and they're talking to a bunch of pros, and I've seen them talk to former collegiate skiers that are now pros, but I like the idea of going around to all the kind of local colleges and getting everybody's point of view on it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I
guys.
like this. I like this. It's gonna be nice.
Thanks,
Yeah, I
guys.
can't wait to listen to other schools as well.
Yep. All right, I'm stopping recording.